My goal is to help you learn when it comes to life and practice, to empower you to be the best version of yourself, and to allow you to find inspiration so that you can go and serve your community and this profession. This is the Chiro Inspired Podcast, where chiropractors come to learn, to be empowered, and to be inspired. I'm your host, Dr. Richard Ledda. Welcome to the Chiro Inspired Podcast. Hey, everyone. This is Dr. Richard Ledda, and I am your host and creator of the Chiro Inspired Podcast. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and taking the time to listen to this podcast. I really look forward to giving back to this amazing profession and to you, my colleagues, my brothers, and my sisters. Now, again, my name is Dr. Richard Ledda, and I'm a chiropractor here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I graduated back in 2015 from Northwestern Health Sciences University, which is in Minnesota, and I started practice back here in Winnipeg at the beginning of 2016, and have been loving it ever since. Now, the reason why I became a chiropractor was essentially, it was a transformation in my health that I experienced while I was under care. So to give you a little bit of a story, I was born and raised here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. My parents are actually both from the Philippines, and they were the first, one of the first immigrants here from the Philippines who started from scratch when they moved here. Now, this partially is actually what gives me motivation and inspiration to work harder, smarter, and better every single day. In that time, as they were figuring it out in Canada, they would work 2 jobs each to provide for our family. There was 4 of us, leaving us kids to essentially figure it out as we got to an age where we can take care of ourselves. In pertaining to my upbringing, I relied heavily on processed foods, video games, and television to get me through the days, which led me to having an undesirable health. Now, by the time I was 15 years old, I was 250 plus pounds. And by that time, I was pre-diabetic, suffered from something called metabolic syndrome. I wasn't diagnosed as that before, but now going through school and learning about it, I know I had that. Chronic headaches, neck pain, low back pain. I had chronic asthma where I had to take 2 inhalers every single day. I couldn't even run a full lap around my track at school without having an asthma attack. And essentially was given Prozac to deal with what they labeled as depression and anxiety at the time. And I'll touch on that a little bit more because that was given to me later. Now, in that time, my parents would encourage me to eat better, provide me with help, encourage me to exercise, but never really listened. My parents did what they could to help me by relying on the medical system, which we have today. But ultimately, it was not a successful avenue of care for me. In 2017, at 16 years of age, on March 25th, I actually lost my father to a massive heart attack. Now, on that same day I lost my dad, that was the same day I started taking his advice that he'd been telling me ever since I was a little kid. Since then, I had to learn to do the work by running 2 miles every single day, which I did around my high school track. I went from eating junk food to eating vegetables and clean meats, and particularly it was carrots, celery, broccoli, and just chicken. I saw my physical body improve, my weight decrease, but the pain in my neck and the headaches in my back eventually got worse, and even my asthma got worse. Now, I got into an accident at around the age of 18, and I was referred to see my chiropractor, and that decision to go and seeing him was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And it's led me to become the chiropractor that I am today, and I am forever grateful. Now, the reason why I created this podcast was because I just wanted to give back to this profession. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to them at the gym. I listen to them while I'm on my way to the office. Anywhere I go, I'm listening to podcasts or audiobooks. And I just really want to give back to this profession. And so I really don't like seeing myself on video as much. but I thought I could tolerate my voice. So, I put the pieces together and I was like, okay, well, I can listen to I love listening to podcasts. I can tolerate my voice. I might as well make some podcasts. And so this actually started with me thinking about creating something just for my city, where it's going to focus on local businesses and entrepreneurs and influencers and just get their story. But I thought, you know what, I want to actually start with my profession, and that being chiropractic. So that is why I started this podcast. Now, what I'll be doing with this podcast is actually interviewing other docs who I'm hoping will provide you guys, the listeners, with their story, or with their stories, with their lessons that they've learned, with their struggles, with their successes. And I'm hoping that you find some inspiration within that. What I'll be doing is releasing an episode every single Monday, once a week. And if I find that I can get more interviews, and this is me being totally honest with you, I'll release a second interview in the week. But for sure, I'll be giving you an episode every Monday. Now, my goal is to help you learn when it comes to life and practice, to empower you to be the best version of yourself, and to allow you to find the inspiration in the stories of our colleagues so that you can go and serve your community and this profession. Now, the format of this podcast, again, is going to be primarily interview format, where I will be interviewing guests within the chiropractic profession. And it'll be mostly chiropractors, but it'll also include chiropractic advocates, any friends of chiropractic in other professions, and so on. So I do encourage you guys to subscribe, rate this, review this, share this with your friends, your colleagues, and feel free to connect with me anytime. I love speaking to other chiropractors and learning from them. So I'd love to connect with you in the future and help you however I can. But I'd also love to learn from you and just get to know you. Again, my goal is to really just provide you guys with value, some inspiration, and empower you to be the best versions of yourselves. With that being said, I hope you guys can give me some feedback. Always feel free to connect with me. Say hi to me. If I see you in person, if I see you live somewhere at an event, please just go up to me and introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you. And again, if there's anyone that you guys think may be a great guest on here, feel free to connect with me. My website is www.drledda.com, or you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter with the username @Dr. Ledda. That's @DRLEDDA. Now, you can refer me as Dr. Rich. You can call me Rich. You can call me Dr. Ledda. You can call me whatever you want. So please feel free to connect with me anytime. I look forward to being with you guys and doing this. And I really look forward to seeing how this podcast grows and seeing where it takes us. And I hope that one day that it'll be really high up there in the sense of rankings and the go-to podcast for chiropractors to listen to. And that's not to take away from any of my fellow chiropractic podcasters. I really want us all to thrive. And there's 70,000 of us, I think, in North America. I think there's enough chiropractors to listen in on these different podcasts. So I hope this podcast is one that you return to every single week. I'm sure this podcast is probably going to evolve as we go. You'll probably see some evolution and improvements in my communication, but also that you'll hopefully see that the format of these discussions and these interviews, the conversations, you'll probably see that they start to get more in depth as I get to become a better interviewer and just communicator. So I really look forward to doing this for you guys. I can't thank you enough for tuning in. Please subscribe, rate, and review this, and share this with all your friends. I honestly can't wait for this to take off and start impacting our profession. So there you have it. That's me in a little bit of a nutshell. That's the intro episode for you for the Chiro Inspired podcast. I love you guys. I wish you the best, and see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to the Chiro Inspired podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please take some time to rate and review this on iTunes or wherever you're listening. If you know a friend or colleague who you think may get value from this episode or podcast, please feel free to share this with them. My goal is to always provide you with value and to leave you inspired. I believe that inspiration is all around us, but more importantly, first it comes from within us. We are all a source of inspiration for others and also for ourselves. If you have any suggestions or know anyone who would be a great guest, please feel free to email me or connect with me at www.drledda.com. I look forward to connecting with you, so